This is Listen Lakeland, the show that keeps you up to date on all things happening in and around the Lakeland area.
In case you're just tuning in, you're listening to the Listen Lakeland radio show, and I'm your host, Laura Rodriguez. Our next segment is our profile piece, which gives an opportunity for our listeners to learn a little bit about individuals within our community. Today's profile is of Joel Ivy, who is the general manager of Lakeland Electric. Joel is a husband, a father, a Rotarian, quite the comedian, and a recent graduate of Leadership Lakeland Class 32. Welcome to the show, Joel.
Thank you, Laura. That's a whole lot to live up to.
It is, but all true. Okay. Yeah. Well, so you've been in Lakeland now for about 3 years. Are you feeling like this is home after so many years out west?
Well, in contrast to where I was out west on the desert floor at 50 feet below sea level, this still feels like a resort to me. So I go home at the end of each day and just kind of unwind, and it feels really nice. So does it feel like home? It does, because my wife is here and we have our house and whatnot. But I'm still kind of giddy about having the opportunity to live here. So
it's like a permanent vacation, except you have to work.
It feels like it sometimes.
You have to throw in some work there.
Yeah, that work thing's getting in my way.
Yeah. Well, tell us a little bit about your background. We know you come from out west, but how did you get into the utility industry?
Yeah, my father is a legacy utility industry person. He wanted me to kind of follow in his tracks a little bit, and of course I didn't want to, because my father didn't know as much as I knew when I was 19. I was a lot smarter than he was back in those days, but he got smarter as I started getting older.
It's amazing how that happens.
Yeah, so I did have an opportunity to join the company that he worked for when I was 23. So I started as a lineman, and I just fell in love with it. And, it didn't take long to figure out this is what I want to do for the rest of my career, at least. Hopefully not the rest of my life, but,
yes,
and it has been nothing but a very fulfilling and rewarding career since then.
Yeah, so you just continued moving up until you got to an administrative level.
Yeah, when I was standing on a pole, and there was a blue northern blowing through Texas, and my knees were rattling against the side of the pole, and I thought, there's got to be a better way.
Oh, my gosh.
So that started my night school career.
Okay, so you went back to school.
I did, and I graduated when I was 32 with an engineering degree, electrical engineering, and that just got me on the path to open doors for new opportunities and whatnot, and I just haven't looked back since then.
Well, that's good. You must have put a filter on your comedianness to move up the ranks, huh?
Well,
or no, maybe it got you where you are.
Yeah, right. I've been told a time or two I need to tone it down.
You behaved when you needed to, right?
Absolutely.
Well, and what was it finally that made you pursue a job in Central Florida? Was it just the job itself, or did you decide you were ready to move east and take up the life in Florida?
If you're not the lead dog, the view never changes. That's kind of the concept that I've lived by, and I had an opportunity to be the general manager out here, and I love Florida anyway. My wife and I had been in and out of Florida pretty much our whole marriage in different times or another. So we had been talking years before. If we had the opportunity to come this way, we would take it.
Oh, okay.
But that never presented itself. And this opportunity came along, and what I like about Florida is that the culture aligns a lot more with Texas than as you go west or perhaps as you go north even. So this was like putting on a warm blanket, to move out here, and it felt right. The opportunity was great, and so it was easy. The decision was easy.
Do you think you'll live here forever?
Define forever.
I don't know.
Like next week?
Post Lakeland Electric days. You think you'll retire here?
I could see that happening.
Yeah, it's a good place.
I've got two sons, and we've talked about moving that direction, but we also know that they may not be where they're at indefinitely. So
maybe you can convince them to move to Lakeland.
Well, what's really cool is we've got Disneyland, we've got Tampa Bay, we've got Busch Gardens, we've got all these great things in the near vicinity, Legoland for crying out loud. So we got all these great things that would attract grandkids.
There you go.
So that we were hoping this is baked.
Yeah, so even if they didn't move here, they're going to come visit.
Absolutely.
If not for you all, for the attractions.
Well, yeah, especially for the attractions, but hopefully for us
Yes,
too.
I think that would be the number one. Well, after 3 years at the helm of Lakeland Electric, what have you learned, whether it be industry specific or something about the city of Lakeland itself?
I remember stepping off the plane in Tampa and driving over to Lakeland for the job interview process, and I was struck by the quality of the downtown and the parks
Yes.
The opportunities that have been, I guess, improvements that have been made in some parts of town that may not have otherwise have seen it had the city not made these investments and the housing authority, for example, and things like that.
Sure.
Now that I'm here, I mean, my initial thought was that, wow, people are good at executing on the vision here. And now that I'm here, I'm seeing that is true. There's a lot of philanthropy here.
Absolutely.
A lot of philanthropy, and in large part to Publix being, the central core of the business district here.
Kind of sets the stage.
It sure does.
When they, they're taking the lead on that kind of stuff.
Well, that vision Mr. George had carries over to the legacy of the other employees there, and so that's been real helpful here.
Absolutely. Well, that's great. What would you say your biggest challenge has been so far at Lakeland Electric?
We're in an industry that is kind of on a precipice, and I say this tongue in cheek because we don't change as fast as other industries do, not nearly as fast.
Sure.
But we also plan for 30-year horizons. So if you're looking out on even a 10 to 15-year horizon, we're starting to look at an escalating rate of change. And so getting people to recognize it early on and adopt the changes that I think that we need to be making, that's been a bit of a challenge, but it is happening nonetheless.
Well, that's
good.
Yeah. Long-term planning can be difficult.
Yeah. Well, but that's what we do.
But that's what you have to do. Yeah. So
if I buy a generator, I anticipate for it to be 30 to 50 years. And so that's why change coming faster than that, it just upset the apple cart for us.
Yes. That is true. I understand that. Coming from a visioning background, it's hard for people.
Yeah.
And finally, when your time comes to move on or retire from Lakeland Electric, whatever that may be or whenever it may be, what legacy do you hope you leave there at that
I said when I first got here, I would like to leave this place better than I found it, make it a strong organization, viable, healthy. And that's the kind of things that the changes that I want to make now are the kinds of things I believe that we need to do so that can happen.
Absolutely.
It's got to add value to the community first and foremost. And if we can keep that mindset, I think this place is going to be healthy for quite some time.
Well, that's good because electric or utility companies aren't always warm and fuzzy. So it's good to know there's someone at the head that is setting that as a priority. Well, Joel, thank you so much for coming in this morning and allowing our listeners an opportunity to learn a little more about you. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Laura. Thanks for having me.
This is Listen Lakeland, the show that keeps you.